Hello, Portland Friends of the Dhamma. I'm very happy to be able to talk with you, even though it's from a distance. Welcome to the KBV Forest Hermitage, where we're really glad that we could come to see you recently. And in these weeks since, it's been a very crazy time, I know, and hard on everyone. It reminded me of a teaching of the Buddha, where he said that there are 5 things that are unattainable by anyone. He said that if we're subject to aging, it's impossible to not age. If we're subject to sickness, it's unattainable to not become sick. If we're subject to death, it's impossible to not die. Anything subject to destruction will be destroyed. Anything subject to loss can be lost. And he said that this is true for anyone. He included the Brahmins and the ascetics and the Devas, even Mara, even Brahma. And of course, when we look at COVID-19, it's the same. Everyone is potentially at risk. Prince Philip is tested positive, and Tom Hanks, and who knows who else. So any of us. And in this teaching that the Buddha gave, he said that the ordinary person, when these things happen, will become upset and very sad. That it will cause their enemies to be very happy and their friends to be worried for them. And they have a lot of sorrow, pain, grief, and despair over it. And he said this is someone who has the dart of sorrow in their heart. But he said noble disciples, those who have heard the Dhamma and practice, like you do. When these things happen, they think, I'm not the only one this happens to. This is natural. And he said they don't have that much sorrow. He said this is someone who's pulled the dart of sorrow or the arrow of sorrow out of their heart. And then he ends the teaching ends with a verse, and he says the same kinds of things, and then he says in the verse, do what you can do. He said if you usually chant, or you say mantras, or you have some tradition for working with things, then do that. And if it helps, great, keep it up. But if things don't go in a positive way, just realize that this is the time when this happens. And he said, the karma is strong. And what that means is not just like somebody did something wrong, but it means this is the time for illness, or this is the time to pass away. And he said, then you say, okay, now what can I do? And I think that's such an important question. Like, what can we do now? And whatever situation we find ourselves in, we can ask, what can I do now? And there's always something positive that we can do. We can always turn the mind to kindness. We can turn the mind to compassion, to equanimity, to joy, and really use those Brahma Viharas to help keep our minds uplifted and our hearts full of kindness, and that adds to the kindness in the world. And then the flip side is letting go of negativity, and really the irritation we might feel with each other, especially as we're living in close quarters together for a long time, or judgmental, critical mind, seeing a family out together buying groceries and thinking they shouldn't be doing that. One person should go, not everybody. Or whatever it is, whenever the mind is turning towards aversion, to really see that with mindfulness and bring in kindness and compassion for ourselves, not to feel bad, but to feel like, oh yeah, this is a normal, understandable thing to do, but I'm not going to do that. And really, I personally have been really looking at digging up every sort of form of aversion and doing everything that I can to let it go. It makes a huge difference. So I really hope that during this time you're able to find creative ways to practice and creative ways to reach out to each other. And if I seem a little bit cold, it's because it's a little bit cold this morning. We decided to film outside because it's so beautiful here. And getting out into nature is one of the things that is so helpful. Taking walks. And I look at these beautiful redwood trees, they're so tall. And yet sometimes one just falls. You may not even have a good idea of why. It's just natural. So every day that you're alive, be happy. And every moment that you can breathe, be happy. And keep the heart uplifted. It helps you be strong, and it helps when we connect with other people. So take care of yourself, take care of each other. And we hope to see you again before long, face to face, like we did a few weeks ago. It was wonderful. And as you can see, we didn't contract any disease in our travels, which we're grateful for. But we really hold everyone in our hearts who is suffering these days. And may you all take good care and be well